very, very important topic that we don't talk about at homes. So before we get started, I just want to talk about or just mention a few statistics before we get started. So according to the Center for Disease Control, suicide is the 10th leading cause of death within the United States. It is the second leading cause of death of individuals between the ages of 10 and 34, and the fourth leading cause of death of individuals between the ages of 35 and 54. Every day within the United States, approximately 123 people commit suicide every single day. There is one suicide in the United States every 12 minutes. Depression affects 20 to 25% of Americans over the age of 18. So just think about that. If you're having lunch with somebody, if you're having lunch with 4 people, one person is going through some type of depression type, severe depression within that moment that you're having lunch with them. If you're in a group with 8 people, that means 2 people are going through some type of depression type, major depression thoughts at that particular moment in time. Suicide takes over 44,000 lives each year within the United States. In 2017, twice as many people committed suicide than those who were murdered by homicide. So in 2017, approximately 48,000 people committed suicide. Homicide numbers were 19,500. I know today is Veterans Day, so I want to give some statistics on Veterans Day. That's not kind of getting like tongue twisted a little bit there. So, according to the United States Department of Veterans Affairs, in 2016, they looked at 55 million veteran records from 1979 to 2014, and they found that an average of 20 veterans commit suicide every single day. So those are individuals that served our country, put their life on the line for our country, and now they're going back and they're killing themselves because of issues or that they're going through. 60,000 vets committed suicide between 2008 and 2017. That is 60,000 vets committed suicide between 2008 and 2017. So I'm from a small town in Louisiana called Lake Charles, Louisiana. The population is approximately 60 to 70,000. So within a 2-year time frame, that equates to everybody in that city committing suicide. That's a whole city being wiped out by suicide if we look at it in that way. In 2017, I think that this number is still correct today. Veteran suicide rate is 1.5% higher than non-veterans. So we have to ask ourselves, these are some staggering numbers. And I want to make sure that I make this clear that we all deal with depression. Real talk. This is not a veteran thing. It is not I'm a powerful person thing, your strong friend. Everybody goes through depression. We all go through this. If you're on this journey, on this physical life experience for a long period of time or for a period of time, you're going to go through some depression type moments in your life. As I said, this is not just for veterans, strong people, weak people, people who lost some things in life, somebody who lost a loved one. We all go through depression. Let's talk about that. So one way I think that we should be able to, or at least start talking, getting over depression or how to deal with it, is just to be able to have conversations about it within our everyday of life. So I know a lot of times you go to dinner, you go to lunch, you pick up the phone, you call a friend, and a lot of those instances, you're talking about other people, you're talking about what's going on in the news, you're talking about things in the rumor mill. Why don't we ask the person that we're talking to, how are you today? How is your emotional state of being? Are you happy? Are you sad? Are you overworked? Do you have anxiety? Ask them how they feel, because that is what's going to open up the communication channels for us to talk about this in society, in our homes, in our schools, in our everyday walk of life. This is very, very important. When somebody commits suicide, they're killing themselves over a temporary situation that they're going through. Oftentimes it's something they're going through currently or something in the past that they dealt with. And what they're doing, they're killing their future. They're killing the brightness and the greatness that could occur in their future. Thank you, Antoine, for joining, and everyone else that's joined as well. So I do want to say this, and I think I want to make this very, very clear, is that we need to open up communication about this. We need to be more open in expressing how we feel. I know a lot of times a lot of people try to keep things in because you don't want to feel, or you don't want to be, you don't want to appear a certain way to other people. You don't want to appear weak or that you don't have it all together. But look at this. Nobody has it all together. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the president, you're the pastor, you're a powerful football player. Nobody on earth, has it all together. And one way we can start having communication is to identify safe spaces. And those safe spaces should be people that we can go to, that we can talk to about what we're going through. So those are relationships. So man was not made to be alone. Woman was not made to be alone. We're all in this physical earth journey together. Now, you create these safe spaces by identifying who you could talk to. But unfortunately, we live in a negative world. There is so much judgment out there. I know one particular time I had a friend, and he was telling me about an instance when one of his close friends called him and told him about some depression thoughts that he was having, how he cut himself, he slit his wrist. And then the friend that was talking to me, who was telling me about the friend that had the depression thoughts, he was talking about it in a negative way, saying that, oh, this guy needs to get it together. You know, he's this big, tall, masculine guy. He's 6'4", 6'5", 250 pounds. He's like acting like a little baby. And for me, I'm like, hey, this guy reached out to you, something very, very intimate, something very, very troubling, and he was cutting himself. That is very, very sad that somebody's cutting themselves and then going to you and just wanting to talk to you about it, and you're going back and talking to me about it in a negative way. So for me, I'm saying, you're not a safe space for me because I see you talking about somebody, you're casting judgment on them, So this is what happens in society, in the world. It's a domino, trickle-down effect where we see people talking about somebody else to somebody else, saying, negative things about them when somebody really came to you to vent, to create a safe space. So think about that when somebody comes to you, when they're venting to you or talking to you about things that they're going through, the troubles that are going on in their life. We need to be more mindful of this. This is what stops people from communicating what they're going through inside. I think about this. This is an analogy. So think about a fish tank. And a fish don't talk, right? So there's fish in the fish tank. The temperature of the water is going up. It starts to boil. The fish are screaming inside. They're keeping all of their emotions, everything they're feeling inside of them. They can't talk. The owner of the fish can't hear them. And that is what is happening when people keep things inside of them. When you're dealing with depressions and emotions and life just gets really, really tough. You keep all of that stuff in. We need to create safe spaces. And we need to be non-judgmental so people can identify those safe spaces, those safe individuals within their life. This is a major problem. And as I said, it affects everyone, all races, all religions. Nobody is immune to this. Hello, Mike. Yes, Didi, I agree. Depression is a precursor. Yes, I definitely agree to that. It's a precursor to depression. To suicide. And I think just open up that communication lines and having safe spaces so we can talk to somebody, because everybody goes through depression. And I talk about a little bit more about my depression moments that I've had in my life, because like I said, everybody has it. So I do want to say that, just making sure, okay, yes. So safe spaces. So safe spaces is not an avenue for somebody that they're trying to get advice all the time. So a lot of time we go to people, we say, hey, I'm having this problem. I'm overworked. I'm stressed out. I have anxiety. And sometimes when somebody goes to you, you have a inclination to say, oh, maybe you should do this. You should go talk to a counselor. This is what Susie May or Tommy Harry did and when they had the same situation or the same circumstance that you're going to. But a lot of times people come to you, they just want to be heard. They don't want to get more noise and more words spoken to them. That just creates some more commotion in an already troubled state that they're in. That's why a lot of people go to God or a higher source. That's why they seek a higher source, because God doesn't talk back verbally. He talks back intuitively. We go to God, we go to a higher source because that source does not judge us. They don't cast judgment. They don't gossip about what we went to them about. But we need to identify that on earth to end this problem or reduce it as much as possible. Hello, Kyle Washington. Thank you for joining. So there's this thing right now that says check on your strongest friend, right? But we haven't talked about why we say that. Why do we say check on our strongest friend? And here's my reason, my rationale why we should be checking on our strongest friends and who are the strongest friends and why they are strong friends. So our strongest friends are those individuals that appear powerful, they have it all together, they're influential, they're the movers and the shakers in the world. And the reason why we need to check on them is because they are more aligned to their spirit self. A lot of times our strongest friends are the creative spiritual beings that are tapping into spirit, tapping into creativity, changing the world. And they're more in line and they're closely aligned to accomplishing what their soul came here to earth to do. That's why they're under the attack. Because the devil, the enemy, the physical opposition of the physical earth is after them the most, because they don't want them to complete what their soul came here to do. That's why we have to check on our strongest friends, because they are the ones they're closer to accomplishing what their soul came here to do. They're closer to their spirit state. The devil is not after somebody who's living a normal 9-to-5 job or just like not really going after their creative abilities. I don't want to say that 9-to-5 job is wrong, because that could be, great for some people. But I do want to say that the devil is not after somebody who's not in tune with their spirit state, who's not connected to God, who's not connected to their higher source. The devil is after people who is doing what they came here to earth to do. They're accomplishing what their soul came here to on earth to do. That's why our strongest friends need to be checked on, or our powerful people, or our influential people, or our creatives, because they are under the attack the most in this physical earth. And also famous people. So we see famous people committing suicide, and that's very, very, very sad to see, because that affects a society, a generation. So when you have somebody like Anthony Bourdain or Robin Williams committing suicide, somebody else that's going through a depression type moment in their life, they can say, hey, Robin Williams, Mrs. Doubtfire, this funny comedian guy, he was going through troubled times in life and he committed suicide. So this must be the right way to go. But no, my friends, this is not the right way to go. Robin Williams was dealing with stuff like that fish. He was holding everything in because people in his life, they didn't separate the Robin Williams, the creative person who was given his gift and talent to the world, versus the real Robin Williams, the day-to-day Robin Williams. So all of our celebrities, they're being creative beings. They're giving their gift and their talent to the world, but that's not them on a day-to-day basis. And we have to be mindful of that when they go through their situations in life. I like how some famous people, I listened to a podcast recently. Lady Gaga was talking to Oprah, talking about all of her accomplishments. But Lady Gaga said that she has depression, for the most part of her life. Even when she's going on stage, when she's going la la ga ga ga, whatever the song is that Lady Gaga has. Before those performances, she's taking medication. After the performances, she's taking medications. She's going through, she's meditating and trying to take care of her soul, her spirit. Now you see Lady Gaga on stage, you wouldn't think that she's going through that. So this is not a famous person problem, a strong person problem. This is a human species problem. Depression and suicide is everybody's problem. Everybody needs to be checked on. If you see somebody that's acting differently in your life, somebody who's not in the ordinary way they were acting, reach out to them. Not just the strongest friends, not just the weak people or people that are going through a tough time in life, but also the creative people. Think about our kids. I do want to comment on this about our kids. We have a president who's a big bully. You know, luckily when I was growing up, Bill Clinton was the president. He was a hip, charismatic. He connected with whites, blacks, the young generation. I know there's the Monica Lewinsky scandal, but take that out of the situation. He was somebody that people could look up to. Our kids have this big bully with orange hair in the White House talking about veterans, talking about people that have given their lives to political change across the nation. He's a big bully. So one of my friends told me that one of his students, he's a teacher, he said that one of his students said he was trying to correct one of his students, trying to discipline him, and the student responded saying, hey, the president acts like that. Why can't I act like that? Why can't I act like that? So that bullying that the child is doing, that the president is doing, is affecting other people. It's affecting a society, a generation. I hate to see, and I know we don't talk about this enough, and the Democrats that are running for president don't talk about this enough either. It's like the psychological damage that Trump is doing to our young kids. There is some damage being done that nobody's talking about, that we should be talking about. We talk about all these other things. They keep talking about Trump and and all these other political agendas. What about what this is doing to our kids, our young generation? It's affecting me as an adult. I know it's damaging the kids psychologically. And the bullying affects the kids because they bully somebody, and bullying is becoming a very, very big thing. And granted, some schools are tracking or controlling it in some way. But when you have a political landscape at the top of our nation is a big bully, it's still going to exist in schools, in social settings for our kids. We have to stop this. And we have to say, what type of damage is this doing to our nation? And bullying equals depression, and depression, unfortunately, equals to suicide in some instances. Greg, thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. So I just want to give you some insights about my personal stories with depression. So, like I said, we all deal with it. I know how my mom and my sister's on. This may be some shocking news for you, but I've had moments where I thought about suicide. I never let anybody know that in my life. I kept it to myself, but I'm sharing it right now because I think right now is the best moment in time. So let's start this openness and communication lines. Let's open up the communication channels right now. So when I was young as 9 to 10 years old, I remember taking some over-the-counter medication. I don't remember specifically what it was. It could have been ibuprofen, Tylenol, or something I found in the cabinet, either my mom's medicine cabinet or my grandmother's medicine cabinet. I don't know whose cabinet it was, but I took a lot of it because I didn't know what was going on with me internally. I don't know if it was puberty, but it was some things inside of me. I didn't feel like I fit in with a lot of the kids that I was growing up with in school. I felt like an oddball. I'd rather go to the library than, go hang out with people. I wanted to study. I wanted to increase my knowledge as a person and evolve even at that early age. And I just felt different. I felt awkward. And I took a lot of pills. And luckily, I'm still here and it didn't affect me. Also, after each of my relationship ended, I had depression type moments. I wasn't suicidal or had suicidal thoughts, but I had depression type moments because I felt like I had lost. When I'm in a relationship, I give it my all. I give my money, my time, my emotional energy, my mental capacity. I give it all to that individual, or in the past I did. It won't happen again. But after each relationship ended, I felt depleted. I felt like I lost. More recently, beginning of last year, 2018, I was trying to evolve as a person. I was trying different types of hobbies and interests just to do something more purposeful in life. I had a contract job at the time that was a negative, toxic environment. I had to quit it on the spot on the day of. And I had a relationship that ended out of the blue. All of those things happened within a few weeks of each other. And, I just felt like life had hit the wall for me. And I became very, very depressed. And there was weeks at a time where I would stay in the bed. My mom is on, and she had to reach out to me and one of my friends just to see how I was doing. I would not get out of bed. But luckily, I connected to God. Capital G-O-D, my God. And I was able to remember who I was at my core and who God created me to be. I went home and spent time with my family, my mom and my sisters, my nieces and my nephews. Going home reminded me of who I was and what I was supposed to be doing on earth. I identified, and I'm very, very blessed to have identified some safe spaces with some friends. I had 2 friends that I shared with. They consoled with me. Each of them sent me 2 different books to read. I had a friend who would send me quotes and just check on me regularly. Even he would send me like Instagram, like inspirational things just to inspire me. I had a friend that flew me out to Miami to get some sunshine, the other vitamin D. I even had a friend that would check on me and just call me about random stuff. It wasn't about the depression or just me, the things that I was going through. And this was actually a new friend that I had met at the time, Mr. Kendra Bowman. You know, I shared with him what I was going through, and I felt very, very low. And he thought very, very highly of me when I was even at a very, very low state in my life. And he would check on me about just random things, just making sure I was okay and I was good, and speaking some good things to me. So this is the type of spaces that we need to create. Without those things, I don't know what I would have done. I don't know where I would be right now. Thank you, Mom. Medication would help with depression, but God was my healer when I was going through depression. Yes, I believe, we talk about medication. Medication is a good mechanism, but honestly, I think that we have the power within our mind to heal ourselves, within our thoughts, and with the individuals in our lives. So putting God first, I think that's first and foremost the number one way to heal yourself in relationships and getting your mind right. Those are the key things I think that's important. Medication is good. I don't want to down medication, but if you join the mental wellness Facebook Live conversation, it can alter your state and you become, I don't know that much about medication, but I think that you may have a lifestyle where you always will need those medications. But I was able to get through depression. I was able to get through suicidal thoughts in my head. When you commit suicide, you're killing your future. There's going to be battles in life. There's going to be obstacles, but life is cyclical. There's going to be hills, valleys, mountaintops, ditches. You just have to wait it out. There's a famous passage in the Bible that says, "This too shall pass," and this too shall pass, my friends. Suicide is a permanent solution to a temporary problem that you have in your life. This is never the right solution. Thank you, Gary Jordan, for joining. I want to see if we have any other final comments right now. This is an important topic. Like I said, I don't know how many minutes I'm at right now, but one person commits suicide every 12 minutes. So if I'm at 24 minutes on this Facebook Live broadcast right now, that means that 2 people committed suicide within the United States. And that is sad. And I believe that awareness and communication and letting people know that this is a normal part of life. Everybody goes through this. When you're living on physical earth, you will go through moments where you feel drained, where you feel tired, where you feel overworked, where you have anxiety, when you're sad, when you're depressed. All of those emotions, negative emotions, and are emotions that are downers, that leads to depression. But also you're going to have emotions where you feel elated, happy, excited, energetic. This is a normal part of life. It's like this. Life is not like this. It's not like this. Life is ups and downs, but you just got to wait it out. Any other thing? Sir Collins, thank you for joining, sir. Yes, it's very, very important. So I want to just I'm going to go ahead and close out. Yes, with the holidays, people are going to feel it even more. Yes, the holidays, unfortunately, that's when the season starts to change. It's gray outside. Unfortunately, there's a lot of death that occurs around the holidays. A lot of completion. A lot of people, their souls complete their journey on earth around this time of the year. And with that, and with people not being close to their family or their friends, or not feeling that they have love in their life, they start to go through depression type moments. Reach out to somebody. Reach out to your friends. Strong friends, weak friends, creative friends. The bodybuilders, the strong people, the people that's always smiling. Sometimes people that are smiling, they're the ones going through the most. Robin Williams, just think about him. They're going through the most depression. They're just trying to give out to the world, and they give out, they give out, they give out, but they never receive in. Smile to people. A stranger. A friend. Smile to yourself. Love yourself. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Mom. Love you, son. Thanks for sharing this topic. There's a lot of people saying needing help. Yes, we all need help, and we're all in this together. So if you're thinking about anything negative about yourself, you are loved. I love you, and nobody else loves you, but there are people that love you. Identify those safe spaces in your life. Suicide is never the answer. Thank you, and have a blessed and prosperous week.